Hey, what's up you guys? It's Lexi DIY and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing a super exciting video. We're gonna update these floors in the Hot Mess Lake House dining room. First, I had to vacuum up the baseboards and everything because there was in fact a spider. And then I took the shoe molding off of everything. Now, normally what you would do is take up the floors as well. But today I'm not going to be doing that because I know for a fact that this subfloor is not level and there is a bunch of stuff that's going to need to be done with it. And I can reuse these floors. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be going straight over this so that I can still get my updated look and, you know, another room can really feel finished. Because right now there's 3 wood tones like competing in here because it's attached to the kitchen and these floors are super orange. They're really cheap like laminate flooring and they are really slippery for whatever reason. So I was like, these gotta go. We did order enough floors when we originally got them for the house to cover this room and the kitchen. So that's just what I'm using here. I am getting my first row ready to make sure that everything lines up. I'm not actually putting it down until I have this adhesive. So this goes on the outside edges and you let it tack up for about 10 to 15 minutes and then put your pieces down. So I did make sure to cut all of my pieces beforehand and I tried to make it look pretty seamless, although there will be a transition strip between this and the sunroom. But I tried to line up these ones with the ones before it so it looked like it continued and that the sizes made sense, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know. You may also be able to see that there is a Sharpie outline on the floor of where I had put these before. That was actually very helpful because I took a very long time when I was templating to make sure everything was level. And that the flooring from one room to another room wasn't gonna go sideways. I also made sure to do all of my difficult pieces like around those vents and the outside wall before I put any adhesive down. So normally you would only spray this adhesive on the outside, but because I'm going over an existing floor, I decided I have extra. Let's just make sure it's very secure, and I'm putting it kind of all over the place. But this is a loose lay floor. It doesn't require the adhesive like everywhere, just around the edges, and if you're doing a large room, maybe some down the middle as well. I also recommend if you're going to be doing any LVP work that you grab one of these LVP cutters. This one I think costs around $60, like $50 or $60 on Amazon, and honestly, it makes the process go so much easier. Although you can cut these with like flooring scissors or a utility blade, but you're gonna get a lot sharper and nicer cuts with this, and it is going to save your wrists. I am using just a Sharpie to mark any of my cuts, and then you just put it up against that little guide so it's all straight, and do one simple movement down with your hand and it is cut perfectly. Although I do recommend making sure that when you're fitting your pieces, if something's not fitting, only cut off a little bit at a time, because remember, you can always cut more off, but you can never add more back on, and then you will have to use that piece elsewhere. I'm also using a little paint guard thing when I'm spraying any of the adhesive down because it is very sticky, so it dries very tacky and you don't want to get it on the top of the floor or on anything else, so just keep that in mind. But this floor is super easy to lay, very easy to install, and I highly recommend it if you are looking to do floors but you've never done them before. This is a really easy flooring to start with. You can see how much brighter it's already looking in the dining room, and you can kind of see what I was talking about in this shot with the orangey floors but a different toned orangey cabinet in the kitchen, and then there's also like a fake wood top for the counters that is like kind of the tone of the floor that I'm putting down. So it was just like way too many, way too many colors. It's looking so much brighter in here already. And I love these floors with the green walls. I'm absolutely obsessed. Eventually, we will do a full gut renovation of the kitchen, which is attached to this, and it will dramatically change the layout of the entire space. So we will probably need to pull up all of these floors at some point. I know I'm just making more work for myself, but I don't know how far that is down the road. So while we wait for a full gut renovation, I probably will do a budget Band-Aid renovation of the kitchen. And once I'm ready to do the full gut, it'll be very easy to pull these floors up and reuse them. So I'll probably only need like an additional box to do some different cut pieces around the new cabinetry. Let's talk about the issues with the subfloor underneath this. So this flooring is pretty level. I'm assuming because it is like a loose lay, it's a click and lock system, that in some areas there's probably extra something under the floor to get all of the boards level. But you could see going from the sunroom to the dining room that there was a shift in the flooring. So I know that on top of the subfloor under this and the fact that it connects to the kitchen, which I checked, and it has 2 layers of linoleum and multiple layers of plywood, it's not going to be a fun time. But the better thing to do would be to figure that out once I have the kitchen gutted and I can level out the entire subfloor when there's no cabinets and we know the exact layout of what everything is going to be, if that makes sense. This was honestly a pretty quick project because the only time-consuming thing is really making any of like the detailed cuts, but the other portion of it where you're just laying full pieces down or making just like a half cut is super quick. Now this stuff is kind of heavy. It looks thin, but it's actually like very thick rubber and they are heavy pieces. So even without the adhesive, once they're all together, they probably wouldn't go anywhere. I'm just being completely extra since this is going over another floor. And look at how much brighter it looks. Now I do need to paint the rest of the kitchen and that blue, the blue walls, they're getting to me. But I did have to take this little cabinet off because it was like all the way to the floor and it wouldn't be able to open or close if I put the flooring up against it. So had to remove that. I'll probably just trim it down. Honestly, that little portion will probably get changed out when I do the Band-Aid renovation, just because that cabinet is a hot mess. It looks unwell. I don't like the way it looks. Here you can get a glimpse of that beautiful blue and white linoleum that is in the kitchen. There's also a layer of plywood under that and then another layer of linoleum under that. Pulling up linoleum is actually a scary process because chances are, since there's 2 layers, that there might have been some asbestos glue used, which it's not harmful if it's not broken up, but obviously you have to break it up if you're pulling up a floor. So we'll deal with that when we get to it, but I'll probably go over with this floor in the budget Band-Aid renovation, like right over that linoleum because I want to. Anyway, I'm using this really cool trick to cut out my side pieces. So you line up a plank with the plank before it, and then you use a scrap piece that is the exact width of one of your planks, and you go up against the wall, and then you use a Sharpie to like draw on the other side of that, and it gets you the exact cut that you need. This is such a great trick, and I wish I knew it before. It made things go way easier, but here we go. Let's show you guys the before and afters.